The world watched as President Trump made a bold move on the global trade chessboard. His announcement sent shockwaves through financial markets. The unexpected policy shift involved a temporary reprieve for some and an escalation for China. Stock markets around the world reacted with cautious optimism. The question on everyone's mind, is this the beginning of a resolution or a prelude to further trade turmoil? The global economy, intricately interconnected, braced itself for the impact. Trump's tariff policy, a hallmark of his presidency, had long been a source of uncertainty. This latest move only added another layer of complexity. As investors digested the news, one thing was clear: the stakes were high. The future of global trade hung in the balance. The world waited with bated breath. Would this be the catalyst for a trade war ceasefire, or would it further inflame tensions? The global community watched, analyzed, and hoped for the best while bracing for the worst. The ramifications of Trump's tariff tango were far-reaching, impacting businesses, consumers, and economies worldwide. President Trump's tariff announcement was a study in contrasts. For numerous countries, there was a collective sigh of relief. A 90-day freeze on newly imposed tariffs offered a welcome reprieve. This temporary truce promised to ease trade tensions, at least in the short term. However, the situation with China took a different turn. China, the world's second-largest economy, found itself on the receiving end of increased tariffs. Trump raised tariffs on Chinese goods to a staggering 125%, sending a clear message. The move was widely seen as a way to pressure China in ongoing trade negotiations. It was a high-stakes gamble with potentially significant consequences. The tariff freeze excluded China, highlighting the strained relationship between the two economic giants. This selective approach underscored the Trump administration's determination to address what it perceived as unfair trade practices by China. The move was met with mixed reactions, with some analysts expressing concern about its potential to escalate trade tensions further. The Trump administration maintained that the tariff adjustments were part of a calculated strategy. The goal, they argued, was twofold: to gain leverage in trade negotiations and to reduce market volatility. The 90-day freeze, they hoped, would create a more stable environment for talks to progress. Administration officials pointed to the flurry of diplomatic activity following the announcement as evidence of its success. Over 75 countries reportedly reached out to the United States, eager to engage in discussions. The White House saw this as a sign that its strategy was yielding results. The administration remained steadfast in its belief that the tariff adjustments were necessary to protect American interests. They argued that the United States had been taken advantage of in trade deals for too long. The time had come, they asserted, to level the playing field and ensure fair and reciprocal trade. Section 4: China's countermove, retaliatory tariffs, and a global balancing act. China wasted no time in responding to the United States tariff hike. Beijing announced retaliatory tariffs of 84% on a range of U.S. goods, signaling its unwillingness to back down. The move raised fears of a full-blown trade war, with potentially devastating consequences for both sides. The escalating trade tensions between the world's two largest economies sent shockwaves through the global trading system. The World Trade Organization issued a stark warning, highlighting the potential damage to the global economy. The tit-for-tat tariff battle threatened to undermine decades of progress toward free trade. China, however, was not content to simply react to U.S. actions. Beijing embarked on a diplomatic offensive, seeking to strengthen ties with other major economies. The goal was clear: to reduce China's reliance on the United States and build a more multipolar global trading system. Section 5: The uncertain future of trade, a delicate dance between cooperation and conflict. President Trump's tariff tango left the world on edge, uncertain of what the future held for global trade. The temporary truce with some countries offered a glimmer of hope, but the escalating tensions with China cast a long shadow. The global economy braced itself for a period of continued uncertainty. The situation highlighted the delicate balance between cooperation and conflict in the realm of international trade. The interconnectedness of the global economy meant that actions taken by one country inevitably had ripple effects on others. The challenge for world leaders was to find a way to navigate these complex relationships in a way that promoted stability and prosperity. The tariff adjustments and their aftermath served as a stark reminder of the importance of dialogue and cooperation in addressing global challenges. The future of trade, it seemed, would depend on the ability of nations to find common ground and work together to build a more stable and prosperous future.